You're on.
Start that over.
Oh.
See how my husband acts like a child? Hi kids, I am here with your Bible study. What is our Bible study going to be about tonight? I tried to think about this last night and I chose this story, but I'm not sure if I will go to a different one. We'll keep to the New Testament for now. So we're going to read Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. Lazarus was a good friend of Jesus. Jesus loved Lazarus. And when he found out Lazarus had died, Jesus wept. And that is the shortest verse in the whole Bible. Jesus wept. In case you see, you learned something new today if you didn't know it. The shortest verse in the whole Bible, in case somebody asks you one day, like maybe you're on Jeopardy or you're doing a Bible quiz and they say, what's the shortest verse in the Bible? And you say, Jesus wept. That is the shortest verse in the Bible. Okay, and Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, brought him back to life. That's why Lazarus was supposed to die, so Jesus could work a miracle through Lazarus. We all have a reason for being here on this earth, and we don't know what it is. But that was Lazarus' reason for being here. He was to die so Jesus could bring him back to life, so people could see that Jesus could perform miracles like that. So let's get into the story. We're going to start with the Bible verse that goes along with the story. My air keeps popping off and on. I don't know what's going on with it. And let's see. John chapter 11 verse 43. It's what it is. And it says, "And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth." That is Jesus saying, Lazarus, come out of the tomb. And Lazarus comes walking out of the tomb, very much alive. And he had already been in the tomb for days, so his body was starting to decay. The smell was really bad. But he came like he had just went in when he came out. The rags were falling off of him. He was like brand new again. So let's get into the story and you'll see a little bit here. From death to life is what the Bible study is called tonight. While he traveled about from place to place, Jesus really had no home of his own. Instead, he ate in the homes of his followers and slept there too when he was invited. Some of these people he would visit again and again as he came back to their village. About 2 miles from Jerusalem, there stood a little town called Bethany. Whenever Jesus came to Bethany, he always stayed with the same family. In this family, there was a man, Lazarus, and his 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. These 3 became very good friends of Jesus. One day, when Jesus was far away across the Jordan River, a message came from Mary and Martha. "Come quickly, Lord," it said. "Lazarus, whom you love, is sick." But Jesus did not seem worried by this news. "This sickness will not lead to death," he told his disciples, "but to the glory of God and his Son." Because Jesus knew what was going to happen, and he knew that he would be raising him from the dead. Then Jesus stayed for 2 more days in that same place. Finally, on the 3rd day, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go back to Bethany." But they answered, "You know, you should not go near to Jerusalem, Master. Why, the last time you were in Jerusalem, the important Jews there tried to kill you." "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep," Jesus replied. "I am going to awaken him." "Well, if he is just asleep," they said, "he will get well." Then Jesus spoke to them plainly, "Lazarus is dead." The disciples looked one from another, not knowing what to think. How did Jesus know that Lazarus was dead? Why had he not gone in time to heal him? Why was he risking his life to go back now and nothing could be done for his friend? They could not answer these questions, but they did know that they believed in their Lord. "Come, let us go with him," Thomas said to the others. "If they kill him, we will be there to die with him." So they went to Bethany. The trip took 2 or 3 days, and when they arrived, they found that Lazarus had already been buried for 4 days. The house was full of friends from Jerusalem who had come to try to comfort Martha and Mary. When word came that Jesus was coming at last, Martha ran to meet him at the edge of town. Her eyes were full of tears. "Lord," she said, "if you had just been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus answered her, "Your brother will rise again." "I know he will rise at the resurrection at the last day," Martha said. Then Jesus looked straight into her eyes. "I am the resurrection and the life," he said. "He who believes on me will, even if he dies." Do you believe this? "Yes, Lord," Martha replied. "I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who was promised to come into the world." Then Martha went back to tell her sister that Jesus had arrived. Martha jumped up quickly to go to Jesus when she heard the news. Her friends, thinking that she was going to Lazarus' grave, came with her. When Mary saw Jesus, she fell down in front of him and cried, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus was troubled to see Mary and all her friends crying. "Where have you buried him?" he asked. "Come and see," they wept. Then Jesus wept with them. When the Jews from Jerusalem saw this, they said, "Look how much he loved Lazarus." But some of them said, "He has healed others. Could he not have kept Lazarus from dying?" About this time, the sad group came to the cave where Lazarus lay buried. A huge stone covered the entrance. "Take away the stone," Jesus said. Mary looked up, surprised. "Lord, he has been dead 4 days," she said. They say that because the smell of a decaying body, you know. Martha looked surprised. "Lord, he has been dead 4 days," she replied. "Did I not tell you that if you believed in me, you would see the glory of God?" he asked. So the stone was rolled away. When it lay at one side, Jesus looked up toward heaven and prayed. "Father," he said, "thank you for hearing me. I know that you hear me always, but I say it now so that everyone here will believe that you sent me." Then Jesus shouted into the grave, "Lazarus, come forth." And out walked Lazarus. After having been dead for 4 days and still wrapped in his burial clothes, Jesus' friends stepped forward into the fresh air. "Take off those wrappings and let him go," Jesus said. Eagerly the sisters tore away the clothes that bound Lazarus' hands and feet. They threw their arms around their brother and then backed away from him to look again. Yes, it was he. Lazarus was alive. So you see what Jesus did. Another miracle. He brought Lazarus back from the dead, his good friend Lazarus. Now let me ask you guys a couple questions today to see if you've been listening to the study, to see if you're learning anything from the study. Whom did Jesus always visit when he came to Bethany? And you should be saying, when he came to Bethany, he always visited Lazarus and his 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. happened to Lazarus. Lazarus became sick and died, but Jesus brought him back to life. Why did Jesus pray in front of Lazarus' tomb? Jesus prayed in front of Lazarus' tomb, not because he wanted God to hear him, because he knew God could hear him. He wanted the people to be able to hear him, to see, so they could see a miracle, because still like today, some people have to see to believe. He did it for their benefit. But like Jesus said, blessed are those who believe without seeing. What did Jesus shout into the grave? He shouted, Lazarus, come forth, which means Lazarus, come out, or come here. And what happened when Jesus said that? Lazarus came out, wrapped still in his burial clothes, like a mummy, you might as well say. And they took the wrappings off of him, and there he was, just as perfect as he was before he got sick. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Bible study. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, little ones, and God willing, I'll see you guys again soon with another Bible study. Bye, kids. God bless.